You're listening to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast with Randy Rubenstein, episode 47.
Hey, podcast listeners. If you happen to have a strong-willed kid who is kind of pushing every one of your buttons lately, I have a resource for you. I made you guys a free guide where you're going to get some tools and tips and strategies to quickly get on the road to creating a happier household. I know you're pulling your hair out. I wanted to make you something so you could start getting some quick wins and building some momentum. So if you want to grab your copy, just go to mastermindparenting.com/free guide. And I hope you enjoy it.
My name's Randy Rubenstein, and welcome to the Mastermind Parenting Podcast, where we believe when your thoughts grow, the conversations in your home flow. So today's episode is 3 tips to raise responsible kids. And I want to kick it off by telling you about a mom that called me recently who called and she was telling me she has 2 teenage daughters and a husband, and she was incredibly frustrated and said, I'm really annoyed with everyone in my family. I've had enough. My kids do not help. My husband, he's a great guy, but he doesn't help around the house. And they just all expect me to do everything, to remind them of everything, to do everything. And, these girls, one of them is already off at college, and she's back home right now for winter break. And so she's kind of grown and flown. And I don't know how she manages her life at college, because she comes home and she doesn't lift a finger or do anything. And for instance, I don't have toddlers, and I make dinner and nobody sets the table and nobody cleans up and no one offers to help me make dinner. No one, it's like they think I work for them. And she said, and I have a housekeeper and they just expect the housekeeper to do everything for them. And it's just, I don't know how they're going to manage out in the world. And frankly, I'm nervous. Like, I think that I have, I missed the boat somewhere. So she was beating herself up a bit as a mom, and she was incredibly frustrated and annoyed. And the bottom line was she said, I really haven't minded doing all the things. I just wish that they appreciated me more. I wish they didn't all act so entitled. And so I instantly said to her, I said, "Oh, you have a case of being too good a mom." And she laughed and she said, "Well, that's a nice way to put it." And I said, look, it came from the best of intentions. You did all the things and you did it. You chose to do it. And she says, I've been a stay-at-home mom and I chose this role, and I was fortunate enough that I had the choice. And now I live in this family where I feel like they just all expect me to do everything, and I'm fed up. So I said, yeah, you had a case of, you did all the things, and now you want them to step up to the plate and to help out and to just know that that's something they should do. But the thing is, you train them to expect you to do all the things. And when we do this, we get fed up and we go into what she was in at the time, motherhood, where we're super frustrated and we're super annoyed, and we think that they should know how to do more and to appreciate us. But the pattern has been the pattern for many years. And when we do all the things without allowing them to try and maybe to do things not as good as us, like I said, let me ask a question. I said, do they make their own beds? And she said, well, I tried to have them make their own beds at one point, but I'm a control freak and I like my house a certain way, and I'm a super neat freak. And so they never made it as good as I wanted it made. And so I just would go and, make it after them, or have the housekeeper make it after them, instead of leaving it, made in this kind of imperfect way. And I said, yeah, the problem with that is that then they were like, well, I might as well not even try, because mom's just going to come in after me and remake it. Oh, well. And so that perfectionistic quality basically trained them not to do the things. And so now at the 11th hour, to all of a sudden expect them to do the things when that's not the way it's been done, it's just an unrealistic expectation. So I said, so it's pretty simple. You just have to break the cycle. And so she was like, okay, how do I do that? And I said, before you have a conversation, right, before you even start having a productive conversation with them, to break the cycle, you've got to first own your role in creating this pattern, right? Like, you had the best of intentions, and we teach people how to treat us and what to expect from us. So you had the best of intentions. You wanted to be the best mom ever. You wanted to handle all the things, and to have the dinner made, and to sit down as a family, and to have this, super beautiful home that felt like a sanctuary for everyone. And you knew they were going out, to your husband to work outside the home, and your kids to school, and you wanted them to come home and to have somewhere beautiful and peaceful, and a mom that was always there. Like, you had the best of intentions, except for you didn't train them to step up to the plate. You didn't give them the opportunity to be valuable team members, right? Like, when our kids are little and they make their bed, and it's bumpy and lumpy and all that stuff, and we say to them, wow, I walked around and everyone's bed's made, and the clothes are in the dirty clothes, and you guys did all the things to keep your room neat. Like, that shows that we take pride in our home. We're working so great together. Way to go, right? When you do that with your kids, especially when they're little, they get to feel a sense of accomplishment, and they beam with pride. It's just like when you teach them to put the toys away where they go, and you say, look at you put all the toys exactly where they go. So next time you want to play with them, you'll know exactly where to find them. And our house looks so neat. And that shows that we really appreciate this beautiful home we get to live in. It's awesome. We're such a great team. We're such a great family. And so you start doing that, and it might sound a little hokey, but when your kids are little, I'm telling you, they beam with pride. So when we've done everything to make it so easy for them, and we're like, well, I have the time, or this is the role I chose, and we do all those things, we actually deny them that feeling of accomplishment. We deny them that opportunity to step up and be a valuable team player and team member. And so then they get to teenagehood, and we all know what happens during teenagehood. Like, it's never been part of their repertoire. And so they don't even know how to do it. So to expect your teenager to all of a sudden just proactively step up to the plate when that just isn't the way it's ever been done, it's just unrealistic. So owning your role in creating the pattern is super important just in your own mind, so you can get out of blaming mode and you can get into, okay, like self-awareness mode. And this mom she was actually very receptive to this. And she was like, yeah, I totally did that. And I was like, awesome. You're self-aware. And so you can own that role in your own mind before you even start to have the conversation with them. And that's super important. I said, secondly, we've got to learn to lean out. Like, there's the term, as women, we need to lean into the conversation. As moms, there are a lot of times we need to lean out. So when they ask us, when they're frantic in the morning, where's my shoes? Where's my backpack? I can't find this. I can't find that. Say you don't know and walk away. Allow them to experience the natural consequences of being frantic and late and unprepared, right? Like they forgot their homework and they're calling you from school. Don't take it. Allow them to experience a natural consequence by leaning out and allow the situation to resolve or not to resolve. Allow them to run late, be a crazy basket case and freak out. And remember, manage your own mind in that, where that natural consequence is going to be the best teacher and help them improve future behavior, because no one wants to feel that way. And when you experience that enough, you learn to get your stuff together and have systems and be more prepared, because you don't want to experience that crazy anxiety and stress. And so a natural consequence, I promise you, is so much more effective as a teacher than our words. And so lastly, stop fixing and solving and lecturing, right? Like the natural consequence is the teacher. And our lecturing words they're not helpful. And us running and doing all the things, all it does is end with us having teenagers or grown children who don't know how to do anything, who are just used to everything being solved and fixed and aren't resilient, right? Like when life throws them a curveball, they have no clue how to buckle down and handle it themselves, because they're used to too good a mom or too good a dad, too good a parent. So the last piece is simply empathize by listening, being a sounding board, and allow your kids to find their own solutions. You can ask, how can I help? How can I help? They're running around frantic, crazy. Where's my backpack? Where's my shoes? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I have no idea. And you sit and you wait and you're letting it resolve. You're letting them look for the shoes and you're letting them look for the shoes, and they're still not finding, they're still not finding, and they're still not finding. You can look at them and you can calmly say, after they have really been looking themselves, you can say, how can I help you? And if they're like, help me find the shoes, you're like, absolutely. And so then you start to look too. But don't jump into the how can I help, until you have truly leaned out, allowed them to experience some of the natural consequence, and then you show up supportively. How can I help? You don't just take it upon yourself to do it. Wait for them to actually ask you to help before you jump in to help. So those are the 3 tips. Own your role, lean out, stop fixing. Those 3 tips are going to help your kids to be so much more responsible and so much more resilient. Hope you have a great week. Bye-bye. Hey, podcast listeners, if you're ready to take this learning to the next level and get some accountability and some hand-holding, I encourage you to schedule a call with me and hop on my calendar. And to do that, all you need to do is go to randyrubenstein.com/discovery. That's randyrubenstein.com/discovery. Can't wait to connect with you.